Tom Brady retired, and immediately the list started coming out. Top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady's number 1. Who's number 2? Blah, 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 blah. And then somehow it came down to, where is Ben Roethlisberger on this list? Is he on this list? People are snubbing him from the list. I had people in my DMs being like, dude, I can't believe Big Ben made this list or didn't make this list. And I'm like, I don't know if I have him in the list. Then I did my list. Do you want me to give you my list before I ask you your list?
Yeah, give me yours. I'm interested to hear it.
All right, so my list was my top 10. These are top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Number 1, Tom Brady. I think that's, Number 2 was Joe Montana. Number 3, Johnny Unitas. 4 was Peyton Manning. 5 was John Elway, actually. 6, Dan Marino. 7 was Brett Favre. 8 was Ben Roethlisberger. 9 was Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes was 10. And I'll say that if Patrick Mahomes wins a Super Bowl on Sunday, he passes Ben and Rodgers and possibly Brett Favre as well. Now, yeah, and Brett Favre as well. So he's sitting there at 7, and everybody bumps down 1. But those are my 10.
Interesting. So I don't have an actual list. I didn't know we were doing lists when you sent me the topics.
No, you're good. You're good. Do you think Ben's in there? Do you think Ben?
I think here's the deal. For me, Ben is absolutely 100% top 15. I don't think. I think going lower than 15, I think is really disrespectful.
Super disrespectful.
Top 10, it's tough. I think he's
Ben
right on that.
Derek's guy.
Yeah, that is my dog. But I think that top 10 as like a football historian, I gotta be real about that. I don't know. I think the highest I could probably see him put is about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And I think the lowest for me, you can't put him below 15. But I think for me, he's probably around 11 or 12. I wrote a huge piece. I'll see if I could try to find it like 4 or 5 years ago about top quarterbacks ever. But really for me, the Ben thing, he's top 5 in a bunch of like statistical categories.
Yeah.
Like you look at like passing touchdowns, passing yards, top 10 and those. I think the biggest thing for me too, like I know people, freak out and put some of these other stat guys, above him, which is, however you want to quantify, it's fine. But for me, like Ben was a winner, and that. I know everybody laughs at like QB wins, and I'm not one to say like quarterback records are like everything. But like you look at just the sheer wins. I mean, he won 178 total games. The guys above him was Brady, Manning, Favre, and Breeze. I mean, to me, I think
and he's got more Super Bowls than
and
those guys.
You look at just all the numbers that he was able to accumulate. You look at he made the Steelers Super Bowl contenders again after not really winning anything for decades.
Yep.
He helped keep them consistently relevant for 2 decades long of play. And then to me, something that really matters to me when I'm talking about like all-time great quarterbacks or elite quarterbacks is who do I want, when the game's on the line. And I truthfully do believe this. I think you can make a serious argument that he's like the second best clutch quarterback of all time behind Brady. Just what he was able to do consistently.
I think Patrick Mahomes is going to pass both of them, but
potentially,
maybe not Brady.
Yeah, and I think to me, Mahomes is going to end up as the greatest quarterback of all time for me because I was old enough, obviously, to watch Brady his entire career. I think Mahomes right now is better than Brady has ever been. I think Mahomes is incredible.
Yeah, me too. But I think it's the Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, I don't have Aaron Rodgers above Ben Roethlisberger, and people get super defensive about it. But I look at it like Kevin Durant and LeBron James. Like 5 years ago, everybody was talking about how Kevin Durant might be the best basketball player in the world, and he's better than LeBron James, and blah, 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 blah. 5 years go by, and Kevin Durant's not on the top 10 list anymore. Yeah, I don't. Because he's not a winner. Aaron Rodgers, not a winner.
Yeah, so I don't really
quarterback of all time.
Everybody's gonna have like different criteria on what matters, and Rodgers has the MVPs and all that stuff, and I get it. he's been a fantastic player, and I don't have a problem. Like if you want Rodgers over Ben, I have no issue with that. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about it, to be honest. But the only thing that I will say is if the game is on the line, I know who I want, and
Yeah,
that's
dude, I'm
it.
not putting
It's
Rodgers
not.
out there.
It's not even. I don't even really think it's really that close to
It's
me
not close
in
at all.
terms of in the clutch. Uh, Scott Caxmere from Twitter, he keeps spreadsheets of like quarterbacks wins and losses and like fourth quarter comeback situations, game winning drive situations. Rodgers always been so overrated in the clutch, man. You look at his numbers and they're just so pedestrian, especially compared to like other elite quarterbacks.
Yep.
And then you look at Ben and like Ben's up there, with the Bradys, the Paytons, like guys like that. So
Yep.
I don't have a problem. Like you can rank it however. But I just think for Ben, man, like the statistics are there for him. He's got top 10 numbers. He was consistent winner. That's something that really matters to me. Consistently had the Steelers in the playoff hunt and the Super Bowl hunt. And then, when it comes down to it, like if we're sitting here taking like fantasy draft quarterbacks and stuff, and I know games are going to be close, like I want one of the two best quarterbacks of all time in the clutch on my team. So that's
Exactly.
to me how I rationalize it. So
Agreed.
I love debating that stuff because, like I said, I'm a real big fan of like football history. So I definitely I like seeing other people's perspective, but just understand that I watched every snap of this dude like 5, 6, 7 times. So it's kind of I have a lot of
yeah, you got a lot of
background with
ammo
this,
there.
so.
You got a lot of ammo. I agree. I think that, when it comes to the quarterback position, Kenny Pickett might make a good career out of winning football games, but he will never go down as the greatest quarterback of all time or physically anywhere near the best quarterback of his generation. Ben Roethlisberger is almost in the same category. Different because Ben was Big Ben for a reason. He was the most physically dominant quarterback of his time.
And I think just like one of the big arguments that I think keeps Ben out of that like top 10 range for some people is that like, he didn't ever win an MVP. He was never like first team all pro. But I think my response to that has always been like, let's look at other guys who have played in different eras and who the quarterbacks have been in their era. Like you look at guys that have benefited from, winning Super Bowls late in their career when the quarterback talent in the league has kind of dipped.
Yep.
Ben had to play his entire career with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Not in the same era, but in the same conference, man.
Yeah,
like the
in the
same
same
conference. Like,
and on top of that, you had Brett Favre for half of his career and then Aaron Rodgers for the other half. Drew Brees was in there for a while.
The greatest quarterback generation of all time. So like when you talk about like accomplishments, what he was able to do in that era is absurd.
Yes.
And I tweeted this yesterday, like, I've been seeing some crazy, man. Y'all gotta lay off that man on Twitter. I have seen some of the worst Big Ben takes I have ever seen in my life. And this is after, every time a team loses a game, it's either the head coach's fault or it's the quarterback's fault. That's how fan bases go. Steelers fans ain't any different in that regard. But dude, I've seen some awful Ben takes. Like I saw a take the other day from multiple people saying that he underachieved. I about lost my ever loving mind. I said, I'm like sitting there thinking to myself, like, we're saying a first ballot Hall of Famer underachieved. Like, I don't think like that to me is like fan base thinking 101. Like you just are not 100% tuned in to the rest of the NFL. Like if you told like a Cardinals fan, hey, I think Big Ben. I think Ben was an underachiever. Like
the Cleveland Browns. Somebody go tell
the Browns. They would look at you like, "Are you dumb?
Yeah.
Are you dumb?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand that like organizations take decades and decades and decades and draft pick after draft pick after draft pick to hopefully find someone like that? Yep. And these are like Steelers fans saying that like y'all just got to witness a dude win 2/3 of his games for 2 decades. Like, what are
Yep.
y'all talking about?
Yep.
Like,
And win 2 Super Bowls, and most teams don't
yeah,
win
I mean, it's just to me,
2
like
Super Bowls in
some of that
general.
stuff, man, it's like it reeks of like ungratefulness and just like total disorientation of like how hard it is to do this at that level.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we have not seen very many people in the history of the NFL that dates back, freaking decades and decades and decades do some of the stuff that he was able to do. And that's just that's bizarre to me. Some of the takes, man, I've seen bad. Like my new rule is to, like you mentioned Kenny, and I ain't getting on you. I'm just saying like a Twitter
You could
thing.
get on me
Like
all day.
people are gonna sit there and like try to make try to put Kenny like on that same path. Like y'all gotta I've been saying this since the Steelers drafted him, but we gotta let Kenny be Kenny. We gotta let Ben chill, let that man drink, do his podcast,
Yeah.
do whatever he's doing post retirement. Hope he's having fun. Let Ben sit over there by himself and chill as a Steelers fan, and let Kenny just be Kenny, and let's just see where this thing goes. Because I see way too many people, man, like just they put unrealistic expectations on Pickett's rookie season. Ended up probably disappointed, and then they're going to continue to do that. But just understand, man, like what he was able to do, like as a rookie or throughout his career, was not the norm. Like let's
Not
just
even
have
close
some
to the norm,
patience to see what happens.
especially as a rookie. No, I agree. There's always going to be Ben Hate, man. When you're that big, the Pat McAfee show is getting sued by Brett Favre, and they did like a whole segment on it this morning. So, yeah, and I had a blast watching it. And they were like, well, we've officially made it big, and you're big when everybody hates you. So that's Ben. When you're the greatest Steelers quarterback of all time, that's what you're looking at. All right, we're going to head out of here, but first, it's the big question.